So they could pee, probably, just like an opening in the ropes. They can, take it out and pee, or whatever priests do. I don't know why they would need access so often. Hey folks, welcome to Joel Reads Bible, and we're still doing it. I know you thought I'd quit. But I didn't. I'm still on it. I'm still reading it. I'm going to continue. Yes, I am going to push through because I believe, not in the Bible, don't get your hopes up. I believe that it's going to get better. I believe that there's going to be something there that's going to be funny or interesting or horrible or, bloody or whatever. I really believe that this is going to happen, and I hope it happens. Well, I actually know that there's some interesting stuff in Leviticus. I know there's a lot of fun, so I really can't wait for Leviticus, and we're almost there. I'm pushing through because even if I turn, Ruth is going to be a nice book. Samuel, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, Kings, there's a lot of really good. Chronicles, Ezra might be good, who knows? Nehemiah. There's so much Bible, it can't all be repetitive. There's got to be a lot of interesting stuff in there. There's got to be. So we've just scratched the surface, and we've found it's very dull just on the surface. But down inside, there's probably going to be a lot of boring stuff, but there's probably going to be Ecclesiastes. Okay, so stick with me, all right? Subscribe, like the video, comment, and believe with me that the Bible will eventually be interesting again. Here we are at Exodus chapter 39, and I'm going to be powering through this one as well. So don't expect too many hilarious comedy jokes, but I'm going to do my best. Exodus 39. From the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, they made woven garments for ministering in the sanctuary. They also made sacred garments for Aaron, as the Lord commanded Moses. Great. Imagine that's where it stopped. That could be the whole chapter. But no, let's go into detail. They made the ephod of gold and of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and of finely twisted linen. They hammered out thin sheets of gold and cut strands to be worked into the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and fine linen, the work of a skilled craftsman. They made shoulder pieces for the ephod, which were attached to two of its corners so it could be fastened. Its skillfully woven waistband was like it, of one piece with the ephod and made with gold and with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, as the Lord commanded Moses. They mounted the onyx stones in gold filigree settings and engraved them with a seal with the names of the sons of Israel. Then they fastened them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as memorial stones for the sons of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses. They fashioned the breastpiece, the work of a skilled craftsman. They made it like the ephod, of gold and of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and of finely twisted linen. It was square, a span long and a span wide, and folded double. Then they mounted 4 rows of precious stones on it. In the first row was a ruby, a topaz, and a beryl. In the second row, a turquoise, a sapphire, and an emerald. In the third row, a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. On the fourth row, a chrysolite, an onyx, and a jasper. They were mounted in gold filigree settings. There were 12 stones, one for each of the names of the sons of Israel, each engraved like a seal with the name of one of the 12 tribes. Just remember that God loves precious stones. He's a real huge fan. For the breastpiece, they made braided chains of pure gold like rope. They made 2 gold filigree settings and 2 gold rings and fastened the rings to 2 of the corners of the breastpiece. They fastened the 2 gold chains to the rings at the corners of the breastpiece and the other ends of the chains to the 2 settings, attaching them to the shoulder pieces of the ephod at the front. They made 2 gold rings and attached them to the other 2 corners of the breastpiece on the inside edge next to the ephod. Then they made 2 more gold rings and attached them to the bottom of the shoulder pieces on the front of the ephod, close to the seam just above the waistband of the ephod. They tied the rings of the breastpiece to the rings of the ephod with blue cord, connecting it to the waistband so that the breastpiece would not swing out from the ephod as the Lord commanded Moses. I wasn't computing. This is what I'm doing now. I'm just reading the words for you. And if you guys don't care either, great. Just don't pay attention to it. I'm just going through, like, the words are coming out. I'm pretty sure I'm getting them right. And that's it. That's as much as we're doing with Bible, because I know we've read this. We've gone over this, and it wasn't interesting then. Who cares about the ephod or the breast piece? Who gives a crap? I mean, look, there may be some sort of significance for these people. There may be someone out there that's going to be like, And this is the significance that God requires. Like, this is why he required it. It's actually really beautiful, blah, 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 blah. We don't know what that is, and it's really not jumping out. Maybe somewhere down the line, Paul is going to say, like he does about yeast, like yeast means sin. He might just be like, the reason why they had an ephod that couldn't swing was because swinging both ways is, wrong, and priests needed to not do that. I don't know. Like, priests were celibate. I don't know what it could possibly be, but I don't care. I'm going to wait till they tell me. And if the Bible doesn't tell us, then I'm going to assume that it's just like any other thing that God comes up with, entirely arbitrary. It doesn't have to happen. It's not necessary. It's just what he wants. It's just his whim, and they're doing his whim. The only thing is, I don't think that God actually sent this down from heaven. I don't think this is his whim. So this is their idea of what a God might like, or maybe what people would think is what a God would like. Like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what their idea is, but I bet you any money that if we spoke to a true scholar of the time, they probably do understand the significance of all the different pieces that these people put together. And I bet you there's a reasonable human explanation for it. It seems absolutely bizarre, but I bet you they would be like, oh yeah, because people of the time thought this and that and this and that and this and that, and therefore this. And those things are only going to point to this being man-made. It's never going to point to God. Because if it was God, it probably would be otherworldly. There'd probably be things about this that were completely unfathomable. They made the robe of the ephod entirely of blue cloth, the work of a weaver, with an opening in the center of the robe like the opening of a collar, and a band around this opening so that it would not tear. So they could pee, probably, just like an opening in the robe so they can, take it out and pee, or whatever priests do. I don't know why they would need access so often. They made pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen around the hem of the robe. And they made bells of pure gold and attached them around the hem between the pomegranates. The bells and pomegranates alternated around the hem of the robe to be worn for ministering as the Lord commanded Moses. Okay, I don't know if we got that detail of them being like pomegranate bell, pomegranate bell, pomegranate bell. But I also assume pomegranates are they're noisemakers. So it's probably a little bit like this. The egg's back. But who knows? I don't know. And frankly, don't care. For Aaron and his sons, they made tunics of fine linen, the work of a weaver, and the turbans of fine linen, the linen headbands, and the undergarments of finely twisted linen. Oh, that's nice. The sash was of finely twisted linen and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, the work of an embroiderer, as the Lord commanded Moses. They made the plate, the sacred diadem, out of pure gold and engraved on it, like an inscription on a seal, holy to the Lord. Then they fastened a blue cord to it and attached it to the turban as the Lord commanded Moses. So holy to the Lord. What do you think that means? Holy to the Lord? I think it means set apart to the Lord. I think that's what holy means, because I kind of looked it up, and I think it's set apart. But when you call the Lord holy, he's set apart to the Lord? Is the Lord set apart to the Lord? Is the Lord consecrated to himself? Is that why he's holy? I don't really know what the word holy means when it pertains to God himself. I feel like I know what it means sort of when it pertains to us, but kind of not. Anyway, that's something I'm going to be exploring in future chapters and things. I really don't know what the word holy means. So all the work on the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, was completed. The Israelites did everything just as the Lord commanded Moses. You could have said that ages ago. You could have said that 3 chapters ago. You could have opened with, they did everything that the Lord commanded. You could have just said that, and we wouldn't have had to go through this agonizing journey of the last few chapters, you bum. You absolute bum. Then they brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent and all its furnishings, its clasps, frames, crossbars, posts, and bases, the covering of ram skins dyed red, the covering of hides of sea cows, and the shielding curtain, the ark of the testimony with its poles and the atonement cover, the table with all its articles, and the bread of the presence, the pure gold lampstand with its row of lamps and all its accessories, and the oil for the light, the gold altar, the anointing oil, the fragrant incense, and the curtain for the entrance entrance to the tent. The bronze altar with its bronze grating, its poles, and all its utensils, the basin with its stand, the curtains of the courtyard with its posts and bases, and the curtain for the entrance to the courtyard, the ropes and the tent pegs for the courtyard, all the furnishings for the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, and the woven garments worn for ministering in the sanctuary, both the sacred garments for Aaron the priest and the garments for his sons when serving as priests. Just list everything. Just list everything. Just say everything we said before. Just say that. By the way, doesn't mention the women. And he brought the women that are for some reason going to work the entrance to this place. I feel like this is them going, we don't do contradictions. They're like, look, we're going to list everything. Now you go see if we mentioned everything before. Fine, you got us. You did. You got it right, guys. This is a game of memory. This is like there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole. There's a hole. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a clasp and a frame and a crossbar and a post and a bases in the bottom of the sea. There's a covering of a ram's skin dyed red and clasp and frames and crossbars and bases in the hole in the bottom of the sea. You know, it's just like they're like, hey, we remember all the stuff. The Israelites had done all the work just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moses inspected the work and saw that they had done it just as the Lord had commanded. So Moses blessed them. End of chapter. It's like, what? They did all this work. I did all this reading. And you're just going to be like, bless you. No, you did it. Yep. All right. How many cubits? Bless you. All right, perfect. Where's the embroiderer? Where's the embroiderer? You did a great job. Bless you. Bezalel? Oholiab? Bless you. Okay, thanks, guys. Bye. You know, just hanging out in this tent with Joshua. Don't mind us. We're just, you know, we're friendly. We're very close. All right, guys. One more chapter to go. One more chapter to go. And it seems like everything's been more or less completed here. So maybe chapter 40 will be interesting. Maybe it'll be some sort of new idea. Please. But guess what? Even if it's boring AF, we're on to Leviticus. We're going to be done with Exodus, finally. I'm always happy when a book ends. You know, they always get so dull. I would love one of these books to be the whole time interesting. You know, front to back, the whole time, nothing repeating, just like full of story. And maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll get there. I don't think it's going to be Leviticus, but maybe we'll get there. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Please subscribe, like the video, and comment on it, and we'll see you next time.